Hi guys and welcome back. We are here at Paupergeddon edition 2024 winter edition, and we are here in Lecco. We are going to start right now the coverage for round number 9. It's the second round of the day. Today it's day 2, and we are underway. We are just setting up the table for the stream, so we're gonna be here all day long talking about Pauper, playing Pauper. There's gonna be 5 rounds today. One is already gone. It's gonna start round number 3 now. Sorry, round number 2 of the day now, which is round number 9 of the whole Swiss. We played 7 rounds yesterday, and we're here. I'm Andrea from BojukaPod, and soon Gabriele is gonna join me in the commentary. He's setting up the stream table right now so that we can bring you the feature match. And there is actually some news from the metagame breakdown, so I can give you some info about the metagame breakdown, because we have I'm gonna recap what was the metagame of the day 1, so at the start of the tournament. And the most played deck was actually Black-Green Gardens, and Gabri, as I anticipated, joined me.
I'm here.
And I was discussing and trying to tell them what's the metagame today and yesterday. So yesterday the 5 most played decks was BG Gardens. Black-Green Gardens was the most played deck. There were 76 copies of it. Second most played was Blue-White Glitters with 74 copies of it. Third most played was Blue-Black Fairies with 60 copies. And then Mono-Red Kuldota, it's top 4 with 46 copies, and the 5th most played deck is actually Blue-White Familiars with 36 copies. But now we also have information on the day 2 conversion rates, and day 2 which decks are being played at day 2. So the most played deck at day 2 is actually Blue-White Glitters, because 22 copies managed to make day 2. I think it's really important, and I don't want to delve too deeply into the implication of this, but I mean, he converted really well. The deck converted really well. It's the most played deck. His percentage started at 11% yesterday, and today is 16% of the field. So it's definitely the deck that's gonna be seen the most, as we saw also yesterday. Probably one of the most seen decks, and today probably there's gonna be a lot of glitters too. And the second most played decks today, so at day 2, it's Blue-Black Fairies. We have 13 copies of Blue-Black Fairies, and there are 140 players that qualified for day 2, and 13 of them are playing Blue-Black Fairies.
Nice. They were saying me that they're gonna start to play, so let's jump to the game.
Okay, we are already ready for the game, and just to finish, what the top 5 decks is Blue-White Glitters, Blue-Black Fairies, Kuldota, Familiars, and BG Gardens. So still the same decks, also in day 2, are represented, but BG Gardens definitely less represented today than it was yesterday. There is, I would say just, but it's not just, but it's 8 copies of the deck, which is the 5th most played deck of the day.
Okay, now we have a very interesting matchup with, on the left, UB Fairies with Charalampos Kikidis, better known as Mogd on MTGO, you surely know him. And on the right side, Vincenzo Vinci with Boros Synth. I asked him if he plays any copy of Glitter, and he says no.
Okay, so he's not playing any copies of
all the glitters.
All the glitters.
So we will see a match without that card.
Finally, we get to see a game where there's no Blue-White Glitters and no glitter in general.
Okay, let's see. A turn 1 Trapping Inspector, and responded by a turn 1 Preordain.
Okay, there is definitely some interesting decks at day 2. I'm just looking at the chat, trying to see what's going on, and there's definitely some less known, less tier 1 decks that made to day 2. I've seen there's 3 Cycle Storms actually playing today in day 2. There's at least one Turbo Initiative, Red-Green Turbo Initiative. I think there's just one. And if I'm not mistaken, there's 3 Goblin Combo. So we have some combo decks here, down here too. And yes, Mogd is Greek, and he's playing right now in
Paupergeddon. We discovered that all, even us discovered it now. So we'll see another Trouble Inspector in the form of a Novice Inspector by Vincenzo and a Gainland. So we'll see how is the response from Mogd, and he'll play a second island, a nice one from Kamigawa. Nice mismatch island for Mogd.
I mean, I'm thinking about the matchup, and I know it's not how it used to be, because the Fairies decks changed quite a bit with the blue-black version, which is much more control-ish than, older versions of the Fairies. But generally, this matchup is in favor of Boros Synthesizer, because the Flyers are really good against Fairies, against their plan, and it makes a lot of card advantage. We have 8 Trouble Inspectors in the... I mean, I don't know if he's playing the full 8 copies of Trouble Inspector. We get a hold of the list as soon as possible, and in the general, I would say that probably Boros has a bit of an edge in the matchup, but it's not as big as it used to be. Well, we see one of the most common play patterns for blue-black Fairies, which is Brainstorm, and followed by a shuffle effect, in this case, followed by the really powerful Lorien Revealed, which is, you can cycle, get your land, kind of an Ash Barrens, but if you draw it later in the game, well, that becomes just a draw 3 cards. So that's really good. Here we can see the Trouble Inspectors are already doing their job at controlling the board and actually attacking through and chipping away when you play burn spells. It's really important. So this is definitely gonna be interesting to see. I mean, Fairies kind of have to answer pretty much most of the cards that they're gonna be presented on board, because Fairies aren't that big. There's ninjas, there's monarchs, but yeah, okay. You can see here that there's a counterspell hitting already on a third copy of, second copy of Novice Inspector, which is basically a third copy of Trouble Inspector.
Yes, to answer to your question, he plays the full 8 Inspector.
Okay, so we have the list now. We are watching the list.
And he play the 8 Galvanic Blast and 4 Galvanic Blast and 4 Lightning Bolt, and 1 off Foundry Helix. So he play 1 off Makeshift Munition, that in this matchup can be very good if it resolves.
Yeah.
And let's see.
Interesting thing is he's playing 2 Relic of Progenitus main deck.
Yes.
So that's definitely a concession to Dredge and the other graveyard strategy.
Yes, I think that in Boros, it's a card that you can easily put in the main deck. It helps you with Metalcraft, it helps you with your creature like Korskai Fisher and Glintok. And we will see now the second counterspell.
Second counterspell on a Boros, on a Synthesizer. I mean, I'm questioning, if there's already a Synthesizer, would you want to counter the second copy of it? Because now, yeah, he gets to buy that back with Korskai Fisher, so...
Okay, now interesting is thinking about blocking, because with the Synthesizer there's a Galvanic Blast exiled, and so he decided not to block. And then...
Galvanic Blast is gonna go face, rather than not go anywhere.
A classic shock.
Face is the place.
A classic shock.
When you're in doubt, just go face.
And Mogd now is below on life points, and some cards like Snuff Out are not that useful.
I mean, it's definitely gonna be a worse card than it was at turn 1, I would say. The game is still like in anyone's hands, because Fairies can come back from worse position. We've seen throughout the weekend multiple times, and here we see he's actually snuffing out Korskai Fisher for 4 life.
Going to 4?
Meaning it's actually gonna be dead to Galvanic Blast if it managed to make Metalcraft. Vincenzo managed to make Metalcraft. Now we see an interesting card, which is it's a Moon Circuit Attacker, which is generally not played in these blue-black Fairies lists. I've seen lists online that plays 2 of this 1-mana Ninja followed by 2 of Ninja of the Deep Powers. And
okay, he plays 2
2 and 2. Okay, so I probably have seen his list online that played this exact split of ninjas.
You also play one off Eco in Decay, so it's important to kill the right inspector, so you can have a 2 for 1. And he play only one off Thorn of the Black Roses and 2 Gurmag Angler. That's not something that you see in 2 copies. And so,
Also a weird, I mean weird, it's not really the word, but definitely a interesting thing is that he's playing 0 copies of Murmuring Mystic in his main deck. There's 1 Monarch and 2 Gurmag Angler and no copies in the main deck of Murmuring Mystic.
He doesn't play even in the sideboard.
I was looking at the sideboard. There's 0 copies in the sideboard too, so there's no Murmuring Mystics in Mogged list.
And now we'll see.
And we see the Gurmag Angler, one of the 2 copies.
He's going to top down. He only have 1 mana open. He play only 1 copy of Spell Pierce, and now.
Yeah, I mean Galvanic Blast is not lethal because you have only 1 clue. So I mean you also know about the synthesizer he has in hand.
So let's see if Vincenzo can find the last point of damage.
The burn spells.
Yes, that's a good starting point.
I mean, also like Foundry Helix makes it.
I think that
kind of easy, but the Spell Pierce it's a concession maybe though. You want to play around Spell Pierce, not play around Spell Pierce. Decided not to play, but I think he has it. Yeah, I think I've seen it.
What a champ! What a champ! The one-off Spell Pierce.
So the Spell Pierce actually saves the day, and rather than chipping for the 1 damage and killing yourself a creature, he decides to.
Okay,
stay back.
That's interesting. You can go with the 2 Inspector. Obviously, you lose 1 with the block of Gurmag Angler, but you get.
Put him in bolt range.
Yes,
right?
you put the opponent in bolt range.
The difference between 3 and 4, it's important for this deck. I mean, I think you don't have to rush to kill your own creatures this much, but so you can probably wait before. Swinging all your creatures like that.
Okay, that's a card that you only will pay with mana.
Yeah. The other modality to play for 0 is definitely off the table right now. Plus, I don't think he has any way to gain any life main deck at least.
No, but
not even the one of Obscura Storefront.
No, I was looking at the death list right now, but he doesn't have a way to gain life even in the sideboard.
No, okay.
So every point of damage will be permanent, we can say, because there's no points and there's no way to gain back.
Okay, Journey to Nowhere is definitely an interesting card that came off the top of the deck.
Yes.
For Vincenzo.
He plays 2 copies of Journey to Nowhere, and now you go obviously to the Gurmag.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen that Charalampos has his 4th counterspell in hand.
He's thinking about it.
Yes, sorry, 3rd counterspell?
Yes, 3rd.
3rd counterspell, sorry. And it's gonna be this is gonna be an impactful. Plus, I don't really understand what Vincenzo has in hand. It might be Galvanic Blast.
Yes, for 2.
It's for 2 though.
Let's see here if I have something special.
Okay,
yes,
it's a second copy of
Galvanic Blast.
This calls the game, so faces the place. We've seen this multiple times from Boros, in multiple years, different meta games, but this is what happens when Boros actually managed to get so many damage through, and that snuff out on Court Sky Fisher definitely hurt Charalampos in the long term, but at the same time, if you leave this Court Sky Fisher down, I mean, it's a lot of damage anyway on the board, so I'm not sure it's a bad choice, you know, to kill the flyer in that situation.
Yes, Boros in the chat they are talking about Boros. It's a card. It's true that we always say that it's an Italian deck. It's true that it's played online, but especially at Paupergeddon, they have always a good win rate. So this version is the classic version of Boros Synth without glitters.
Yeah, he is playing no glitter.
Hashtag most hated.
Hashtag most hated.
The villain of power.
No, I mean, I know that Boros generally is considered like a really Italian deck, really Paupergeddon-ish deck, but in this metagame with the print of Novice Inspector, it's definitely a deck that can be played in a competitive way. I mean, there has been times where at the Paupergeddon there were many Boros where Boros was not good in the metagame. Today is not the case. There isn't that much Boros. Plus, I think it's a good deck to play, both with glitter and without glitter. It's a good deck. It's kind of well positioned in the metagame. You probably will suffer against blue-green gardens a bit, which is really present in this event. But I mean, it's definitely a deck you have to consider, and you have to keep in your mind that in any way it's a bad deck as of right now.
Yes, because you have a pretty good matchup, I will say, with Ubi Fairies. Because if Ubi Fairies is not prepared for some kind of life gain, like this Mog list, as we said before, every point of damage is important. Every point of damage, and Boros has the capacity to close the game out of nowhere, like we've seen before. They were for 2, the last 2 Galvanics, but if they were for 4, you can easily put down something like half your life total with a free spell. So it's a nice addition with the other 4 copies of the Inspector. You can chip in some damage
early in the game, in combat.
While Ubi Fairies is maybe setting up his mana with some Brainstorm, with some Lauren Revealed, and so it's important to Boros to keep pressure in the first turn of the game.
Yeah, I agree.
In this matchup, you are the aggro player. Yes, Boros historically has a good matchup versus Fairies. With Ubi, maybe was the last of the 3 of Fairies. Mono Fairies obviously is the best one, where blue red and blue black are good matchups, but it's more played than the mono blue. Yes, Skyfisher is a house, blocks all the Fairies. Can chip in with some good damage.
Yeah, I mean, as I was saying before, blue-black version of Fairies has become recently more of a Ubi control deck, blue-black control deck. But at the same time, we see that Charalampo's Kiki's list is actually close to what Fairies used to look like. He plays more ninjas, he plays less monarchs, he plays no Murmuring Mystics, and these cards are really important in the matchup. So I feel like this particular list that Mogd is playing today, it's not that well positioned in the matchup, while other lists can be better positioned, other blue-black control.
Okay, the first match was won by Vincenzo. And now
first game was won by Vincenzo. If you're thinking about the first turn, like turn 1 of the day, we had in stream Glitters versus blue-red control, and blue-red control won 2-1.
Okay, now we will fix the life total. Okay. Yes, Kikidis is Mogd from MTGO. Now we'll see if what Vincenzo is choosing. Okay, now the life points is going to be fixed.
Being fixed.
Thanks, Sapo. Okay, let's see. Okay. Maybe a Brainstorm. If we are at the end of his turn. Yes, Brainstorm. It's gonna resolve. You want some copy of Red Elemental Blast, obviously. And we'll see how many Vincenzo is playing.
I think
TCS. No. Okay, I can tell you that Vincenzo is not playing any Karklan Shaman in the main, and there's also 0 copies in the sideboard. It's an interesting sideboard. He's playing Guardian of the Guild Pact,
Yes.
which has fallen out of favor in recent times in Boros. But
And it's about a nombo with experimental synthesizer.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
play
yeah,
experimental synthesizer maybe on turn 3, and you flip
you flip
Guardian
a
of
4 mana spells. It's not
not
ideal.
ideal.
I don't know if it came in this matchup, but I mean, if Charalampos doesn't have any kind of edict effect or sided in any kind of edict effect, Guardian can actually be a really big problem.
Yes, he can win the game by itself, but even if he play only 1 copy of Agony Warp main deck.
Okay.
Okay, and a 1 Chainer Edict main deck. So it's a little bit... I don't know if you want to put in something like that. Let's see, Lembas, if he hits a Spell Pierce, seems like this, or maybe another counter. Yes, Annul.
Okay, that's an annul. Annul counters an artifact or an enchantment, so this means that he brought in those especially for these artifacts that can make Glintalk and Korskay Fisher really good cards. I mean, I've played this matchup multiple times through the years and the games and stuff. Now, let's see if there's gonna be a ninja on a ninja.
Okay.
No, it's just Hydroblast.
Okay, Hydroblast on Electricity.
Hydroblast on Electricity, so ninja connects and he's trying to draw 2 cards.
Okay, maybe a little fast Electricity here is to go under Spellstutter Sprite. We need to know what have Vincenzo in hand to maybe play now. He hands up with the opponent basically tapped out. He hasn't blue mana available. Yes,
there we go.
Okay,
So
now
the matchup is gonna revolve around this card.
Okay,
now.
the Electricity
Everything else
made
doesn't matter.
a lot of sense now. Okay,
Yeah.
now let's see if Mogd can find a Edict Effect or an Agony Warp. Even it's nice to notice that he maybe has it sideboard out. So let's see.
I mean, Agony Warp is a good card in general, so you shouldn't be. I don't think you would side that out. And well,
How many Guardians in the sideboard?
There's
Two Guardian.
2 copies of Guardians in sideboard, and we see that actually Charalampos kept both cards on top. And if I'm not mistaken, he kept 2 islands, which means he probably has some way of drawing and developing his play to deal with the second copy of Guardian.
Okay,
because
now
he is stuck with counterspell hand, but that swamp is actually killing him right now.
yes, that's a really problem. He only has.
Yeah, I'm sure he has 2 islands on top.
Okay, that's a 4-turn clock.
That's a nightmare. It's not a furniture clock.
He blocks your ninja. You can chip in for damage this turn. You can not.
I mean, having a race back, it's really hard. Because you're playing against Boros when you don't have any kind of reach with bolts while your opponent plays bolts, so the race is not gonna be on the board for Boros. And plus, this is 4 damage each turn and can block in case they need. You can just get back and block. See, Brainstorm, try to fix the hand a bit. See if there's any fetch effects. Nope.
I will be very surprised if Mogd can overwhelm the situation because.
I mean, it really depends, because if you have, like right now, a Chainer's Edict, which means that you have a plan of being able to flashback Chainer's Edict in the future, but as we are right now, there's no copies of Chainer's Edict. Aggro of Bolas is gonna... Okay, take a look at the sideboard before...
Okay, Agony Warp.
Agony Warp is actually in the sideboard. We saw it.
Nice choice.
I don't know if he has 1 copy in the sideboard too, and it didn't side that in, or if it's sideboard out
It's
the main.
It's the only one.
Okay, it's the only one. It's
the only one in the
sideboard out.
75. Okay, let's see. Okay, now Vincenzo is.
Vincenzo doesn't even really have to react to anything. He just keep swinging until he has a
now
response.
I think that he's thinking if he should go with
With
the
both or just one. Yeah, maybe unlocking the other the little ninja can be a problem. So you decide, okay, I'll block the ninja. I will not let you develop your end to find answers to the guild pact.
Okay. Yes, it's Mogd that's playing Obi Fairies. Now let's see. Vincenzo can play now some like control, some sort of control role. He stay there, backed up by his double copies of Guardian, one at turn 4 and the other at turn 5.
So
nice.
yeah.
And
Which, as we were saying while looking at the sideboard, it's definitely the most important card in Vincenzo's sideboard, and he actually managed to resolve both of them.
okay. I see a Korskai Fisher without object to effectively bounce.
This may be some kind of artifact rock.
Okay,
There we go, it's
Lambassa, but it's
Lambassa.
gonna be countered with a
I
spell
feel like this
starter.
should
Yes.
be Spellstarter Sprite.
Spell starter eating Lambas. I don't know if it's good for her diet, but it's really it's really good in this spot. Okay. Now let's see.
I mean, it's a difficult spot for Vincenzo if whether you wanna keep attacking, because I feel like his hand is not really well positioned because he's not playing any spells. This Lambas got countered and he had no response to the Spellstarter Sprite. I mean, if you have one removal spell, you're not gonna cast it because he has already one Spellstarter Sprite. And now Spellstarter Sprite is gonna get recycled.
Yes.
So maybe
Okay. If there's one
Chalampos can-
win, if there's one way you can win this game is you're gonna race the opponent.
yeah.
It's the only way to win. Now let's see. Okay, he decides to only go with 2 damage.
Yeah. Okay, it's gonna go with 1.
Okay, 12,
Putting down at 12.
12 to 13. It's extremely close game. Seems.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like it really depends on what Vincenzo has in hand. Because Blue-Black Fairies, I think, can race these two beasts even without answering them. With how many cards Mogd has in hand, I think it's not that hard. I mean, it's hard, but it's not impossible. And he's actually
Okay.
Counterspell
He
is a
found
good
the
card.
counterspell. Okay, he found even the second island to be open with double counterspell he has in hand, and now it's a race. Let's see how many spell can Vincenzo resolves. That's very important. He has 2 counterspell, 4 mana up, and with 5 with that swamp. And now let's see. He decided to only go with 2. 10 and 12.
I'm trying to figure out what Vincenzo has in hand. I know he has a Korskai Fisher. Okay, that's a Galvanic Blast.
Okay, I think I saw an experimental synthesizer, but I'm not really sure.
What? Okay, so maybe he's just keeping cards in hand because of the spell starters he knows about. So he's just decided not to swing anything.
Okay.
Now it's time to run.
Okay.
Run back.
What you block now? You block.
Probably a ninja.
Yes.
It's a bigger power. Plus, you don't want to make him loot with all the cards he has in hand, which means he's probably gonna get a better hand, even better. It's gonna get his hand even better, and so yeah, you block the ninja, you just kill it off, and it shrinks a bit his board.
Okay, now Mogd has the opportunity to stay open with Spellstarter mana and 2 counterspell mana, so he has 3 counter up.
Yeah, I think he also has an Hydroblast in hand, which
Okay,
he decided to place the land for that specific reason.
Okay, so
so
he
I
has
think he can represent 2 counterspells, Spellstarter Sprite, and Hydroblast.
Okay, 4
He
counters
also has a
up.
Spell Pierce, but I think the Swamp is killing him in this spot.
Okay,
'Cause he
now
cannot play also spell
the
pierce.
race is actually intriguing because if Vincenzo decides to swing for 4,
Yeah, he's not gonna win the race.
He's not gonna win the race.
Land Bass is in the graveyard.
There was a spell starter cast on it, and spell starter was just got back with Ninja, so they never resolved.
Okay.
They're both
Okay.
countered by spell starter sprites or counter spell. And we see Vincenzo is actually counting with us.
Yes, because
If he can swing,
now-
what should be swinging? How should we proceed from here? Because we Blue Black Fairies has its way to go back in the game. Because Vincenzo basically didn't cast any spell after these two Guardian of the Guild Pacts. He has a Traben Inspector, but he's definitely scared of. Is trying to not make him make value with Spellstarter Sprite.
Okay, now this attack are very bold.
Which means he's gonna probably try to deploy as many cards in hand as possible if you
Yes.
want to attack with this many creatures.
I don't know. I don't know if he decided to play now. Maybe it was right to play before attack.
And
So
see what happens, and then
Yeah.
you decide what to attack with.
Or maybe he wants to wait another turn to play something, or maybe play something in the opponent's turn. He has some Red Elemental Blast.
Okay, the Galvanic Blast is actually for 4, right? Because
Yes, he has three artifact lands.
Yeah. So maybe his plan is just to bait counterspell out as much as possible,
Okay,
and
he
then
passed.
just Galvanic Blast
Okay.
as before.
Now the plan is really
Okay, swing
easy.
with everything.
Swing with everything and pray.
Trigger from Ninja, draw this card. He has so many cards in it. He
Yes.
can represent so many counterspells.
I think
too.
that you maybe can discard a Snuff Out or a BojukaPod. I see. I don't know.
Yeah, I think he's thinking about discarding Augur of Bolas because he needs all the blue mana in the world
Okay.
to keep up counterspells. Because he has so many counterspells in hand, and don't want to lose like before to.
Okay, exile with BojukaPod.
Played.
Okay, now is the
Draw.
turn of truth.
Yeah, this is the turn of truth.
He's thinking in the end.
Thinking at the end of the turn.
I-
How many cards
okay.
do you have in hand? Okay.
Okay, what he has
Can't
drawn?
quite see what he drew. Okay, I'm gonna recount Charalampo's lands. He has 1 blue, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 blue, which means 2 counterspell, Hydroblast, and either Spell Pierce or Spellstarter Sprite.
Yes.
But not both. Cannot keep up both Spell Pierce and Spellstarter Sprite. So
Okay.
it's effectively representing 4 counters,
Okay, let's
which
see.
is still a lot to overcome.
Okay, Vincenzo.
I mean, it's not dead on the board, obviously. So
Okay,
Vincenzo,
Traben.
this could be anyone's game at this point, and
Okay.
this counterspell war is gonna be really important.
Okay, Spell Slaughter.
Spell Sprite, you let it resolve, you let it.
Yes.
Okay, you let it resolve.
Okay, he has another fairies on the ground, so it
The
will-
plan is probably to try to resolve this Galvanic Blast now, so bait out all the counterspell in the world right now.
Okay,
That's
I think
my idea,
now-
but I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong.
Okay, Boris. Maybe
Boris,
you will play.
synthesizer?
Plays, right?
Yeah, the bottom ones are 2 plane. I mean, maybe one is a mountain.
No, it's a mountain. Mountain.
One
plane.
mountain, one plane. Yeah, one mountain, one plane.
Okay, this experimental synthesizer gets an Hydroblast, I think. I don't know. He's thinking about it because maybe you wanna counter the next card.
I mean, I don't know. It seems like it's a good card, and Vincenzo has 3 cards
Okay.
left in hand. Okay.
Oh, nice one. Nice
Galvanic
one.
Blast is exactly what he needed.
Okay.
And this is gonna get Hydroblasted. But yeah, I mean, I don't know if I would let him cast Experimental Synthesizer, because, I mean, it just unlocks all the core and Gillian Talk you have in hand, right? So, if you manage to do that, you have to counter that. There's nothing to think about. And
Okay,
this
but-
is Spell Pierce. He's gonna mental. Oh no, it's just another blue elemental
Elemental
blast.
Blast, yeah.
I mean, I was thinking about Spell Pierce so that he makes him tap out as much as possible.
How many
Yeah,
copies of
look at this.
Six,
He has six copies of
Six copies,
Hydroblast. Yeah.
Okay, this Spell Pierce.
This Spell Pierce is really good because, you know, if you pay the mana, you don't have much mana to play anything more. And I know I have Counterspell plus Blue Elemental Blast, for what you have left, which means I untap and try to kill you. This was such a good play by Mogd.
I think Mog has won this game because he has another
And,
counter.
and I show you counterspell for that. Hey, whatever you have with 1 mana, I
Okay.
counterspell and I win on combat.
And we have. Yes.
Yeah, no, it's then on board. And this was a masterful play because I mean, in my head, Spell Pierce wouldn't have done anything, and actually he won the game.
Okay, now it's very important to notice the Vincenzo is at 3 life. If he attack a turn before with a Guardian, he will be lethal on this attack, and he will not be dead because the ninja that was blocked by his Guardian, he
Would have sent him at 1.
we were sent him at 1, he was dead. So it was math all the time. It was math.
I mean, it's definitely math, but it's so much complicated because we have all the info about what they have in hand and what they have in game, so what they should be playing against, what they shouldn't be playing against, and what the sideboard is, what the cards. I mean, it's not that easy watching from. I mean, it's easy when we watch it from outside because if he played like this, we knew he had that, and so that would have been the game. But being on the table and playing without knowing information, it's really hard to figure out how you should attack with those 2 creatures to actually be able to figure that out. I mean, I was thinking the first thing I was thinking about is that if I was in Vincenzo's mind or in Vincenzo's place, I would have started attacking for 4 every turn.
Yes,
And not care about the ninja. But I mean, if you draw an answer to that, my plane of the race is basically gone. So I'm not sure that my plan would have worked better because you don't know what your opponent's sideboard is. You play against Agony Warp, you have to play against Chainer's Edict. You were exposed to all these cards. So I don't know.
Okay, now we see. I don't think I see Mog the sideboard.
Yeah,
something.
Mox did not sideboard back in the Agony Warp, which is weird.
Okay, we can say something that Vincenzo has the best case scenario to play for turn 4 Guardian and turn 5 second Guardian.
Yeah.
And he managed
still
to
lost.
he managed to win. Mog managed to win this game. So he maybe say, I don't care about
Yeah, I don't
Guardian.
care about Guardian. I can race it. Yeah, he's playing 1 copy of Spell Pierce.
Capito? Ricordiamoci, hanno 2 minuti di tempo extra per il Lecco che è.
Okay, now we see interesting play. Okay, and very aggro play. Red Elemental Blast on Fairy Seer and Glintalk returning to the nothing, to the header, the clue token
Okay,
that
the clue
Traveling
token
Spectre
was-
generated.
okay. I was trying to figure out because I didn't see an ancient then. It was the clue token.
Okay, swinging for 3. Okay, now Boros has obviously take the aggro role and
Yeah.
let's see how it's gonna play.
Let's see if it works. I mean, if you play aggro, you kind of want to play something on turn 3.
Yes, I saw a
He's
course.
also so low. He's low amount of cards in hand.
I saw Korsky Fisher. Maybe he doesn't want to go under counterspell, but I think that you put yourself in a situation where you wanna be the aggressor, and so I don't know. Let's see if he has another Red Elemental Blast.
I mean,
or
the
something.
Rebel Elemental Blast was really aggressive on the 1/1, which on this board is the worst body. So
Okay, now let's see. Maybe now.
okay, they're saying from the chat that actually he put Agony Warp back
Okay, fantastic.
in the deck.
Okay, makes sense. Made a lot of sense.
And we see the land drop for the turn.
Now he's open with 2 mana.
Counterspell up, spell starter up. Maybe not. Maybe
Okay,
it's
upkeep.
not out.
Snuff out. Okay, now
And it's gonna pass the turn.
Okay.
Swing for 1.
No Ninja by Vincenzo. I'm joking, obviously.
I mean, I kind of want to play Korsky Fisher now. Because if I don't play anything also this turn, then what's my plan? Okay, if I have a Traben, okay, I can delay Korsky Fisher. Plus, I only have 1 white mana, so. as of right now.
Okay,
This,
it's a removal check.
there's no removal. I don't think there is at least.
It's thing. Okay. Oh, that's
Okay, it was to bait out something like that to resolve a more important spell, because Synthesizer actually unlocks Core Sky Fishers and Glintox.
yes. It's very important.
So it's better than Traben Inspector in this position. So
it's very important for
that's why you drop it in the face of Spell Status Prime.
yes. It's very important for Boros to have artifacts on the ground, so your creature are not only creature. They gain you back
they
something.
they make so much value for their mana cost. I mean, if you think about Glintock with Synthesizer down, it's insane. It's a 2/2 flyer for 1 mana that draws you a card. That's an insane ratio to power to mana.
And then lets you recast another.
Yeah, you can recast the
Yes.
the card after.
But if you didn't have artifact on the ground, it's
it's terrible.
It's
right?
terrible.
Yeah, even destroying the clue, it's bad because the clue is good and you don't wanna.
In this matchup is very grindy, so you wanna draw every card possible. Now we'll see about Mogd. As obviously the control role, now he's thinking of what's gonna do in the next move.
Thinking about what to put back with this brainstorm, 'cause I feel like he could have a shuffle effect. I mean, there's Blue-Black Fairies plays so many good cards that it happens the situation where you play brainstorm, you have to fetch, and well, your hand is so good that you don't want to fetch anything away, and so you're like, well, can I not fetch anything away because I maybe need the land drop from Lorien Revealed, so I need to fetch everything away, but what do I give away? I want all these cards, and so you have to think about it, slow down, take your time to resolve the brainstorm.
Classifica di piano. Facciamo un film. Volete?
Okay, now let's see.
This is a Gurmag Angler.
This is a Scream Gurmag Angler. Like the little pose on MTGO. Okay, now 4 mana. Spell Pierce doesn't work in that
Yeah,
game.
Spell Pierce doesn't work. So Guardian of the Gita resolves.
He returns the Agony Warp back in the deck,
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
so he can have.
There
an answer.
there is an out now.
Yeah,
Okay.
I mean, maybe the Chainer is in too. There is a Traben now, but Chainer can in the future be an answer to.
Remember something, by the way, that Agony Warp can be countered by Red Elemental Blast
Yep.
because it's blue.
Yeah.
So it's.
You have to keep an eye for that too.
Okay, Traben.
Traben, it's gonna hit with Spellstar Sprite, but I think it was baiting out to resolve a Core Sky Fisher.
Yes. Now he's.
But he sees the counterspell mana up and he's like, should I play this Sky Fisher? Should I not play this Sky Fisher? I mean, if you do that, I think you should, right?
Okay.
If you spell status pride, you're like, yeah, maybe I ran off the core too.
Okay.
Otherwise, why would I throw that too?
This attack by Guardian, it's a right play in my opinion because
Yeah, he's at 9 life.
Magda has a 9 life now, so free bolt, another 5 more turns with Guardian. I don't think it will be the case, but we'll see. And
Okay, there's just one card in hand, which means that's the reason why he didn't want to play against Counterspell, but he drew Counterspell now. So now, I don't know if he had he had 2 copies, so he had Counterspell ready for that Core Sky Fisher anyway. The race back is actually pretty impressive because
Yes.
it's 7 damage.
Chum block here is an enabler for an addict, so it's a good move.
Yeah,
for-
yeah.
for
I don't know.
Moged.
I don't know if I want to chum block right now. I mean, I'm high on life. He doesn't have any reach, and this Traben might swing back for a damage more the next turn, and then chum block when I'm really low. So,
yeah, so maybe
I don't know.
there's a point that say if you can chum block now, you need to chum block now because if you ever
You don't know when you will be able to chum block.
If Campos has removal, they're gonna be a problem. But let's see. I think now, let's see, if he decides to play a spell or maybe crack synthesizer. Okay, Course
Okay,
Fisher.
Fisher, it's gonna get counterspelled. No
Trying
chance
to
that
say
result.
no, and no is the answer.
Okay, let's see what he has in hand.
Whatever it is, it's gonna get hit by counterspell because it's the last card. So
Okay.
I feel like you always counter the last
Yes.
card, right?
I don't know if there's an argument to maybe crack synthesizer first. You had another artifact on the table that you can put it back in hand with
Does
Course
Morgan
Fisher.
have another
Counterspell,
in
yes.
hand? Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, he does. We know he does.
He's thinking about the card, and it's a land, and
He's
it's
gonna crack synthesizer right now.
Yes. Not the optimal synthesizer. Let's see
mean,
what we hear.
that's a Course
Fisher. Maybe it
Ouch.
was.
I feel like he did that to champ because you wanted the 2/2 to champ block Gurmagangler. But again, I don't know if there's the need to champ block this fast. You have the Lambas which can gain life.
Yes. Maybe the right move, obviously in hindsight, was to crack crack synthesizer first.
Before casting Course
Fisher.
Yeah.
Yes, it was.
I think it was because he's trying to figure out what the turn should be, and he had the answer of what he wanted to do later and after already having cast the Sky Fisher, which it's not ideal, obviously.
Okay, this
Nice
ninja.
point, Tinko, nice point.
This ninja is backbreaking because he gains campus back a counterspell Mogd, not campus, sorry. A counterspell in form of spell starter sprite, and now there's a.
Yeah, that's a good point. The Samurai also protects from the Edict effects, so that's why you wanted to crack on his turn in this turn. But
I
yeah,
know.
now that we know that there is another counterspell. Plus, it's
Icon Decay
You can
you can
decay.
decay, which is
and an Ogre
relatively
Bolas, I think.
important. But so many counterspells, there's Hydroblast, 2 counterspells, and Spellstarter Sprite. That probably the best thing that Charalampos can do right now is actually hit land drops to actually be able to play so many counterspells. But he doesn't have any. At the same time, as long as Vincenzo has no cards in hand, 1 counterspell a turn is more than enough.
Yes,
So
he has some way to gain back some life with Lambas, so he can buy him some time. But that Guardian needs to stay back and block the Gurmag.
I mean, you need to put Rancor over that Guardian to try to win this game, because you cannot, by the way.
You cannot.
But Armadillo Cloak, yes. But Isa doesn't. He doesn't play any copies in the 75, obviously. And now let's see what Campos did with this brainstorm.
I don't think he can imagine sitting on Guardian for 4 turns. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean, at this
Quiet
point,
Lord, come here.
he drew so many cards with ninjas, and there's gonna be a board that you cannot just fog the Gurmagangler every turn with your Guardian. You kind of have to be as aggressive with it to try to burn the face. But I think there's just so many counterspells in Kikidi's hand right now that it's gonna be hard to overcome all of them when you have no cards in hand.
I know who you are, Quiet Lord, come
Okay.
here.
Now that's a very interesting one because
He went up out.
yes, it went about. He has a lot of trust of the top deck of Vincenzo. But a synthesizer now can unlock some.
Yeah, synthesizer now can be a really even Core Sky Fisher can be really powerful.
Let's see what Vincenzo drew. He decides to attack
Attack
with both.
I mean,
That's a free block.
That's a free block. Free attack too.
Okay, bolt.
Bold face.
Yes, I like
That's
it.
gonna resolve.
And that's.
I mean,
that's a problem now. That's a removal. Is
no,
gonna.
I mean he does have snuff out, right?
Yeah, so for mana snuff. But he
Yeah,
has,
you
he has a
can- you
Lembas.
can
He
play-
he has a Lembas.
Okay,
today.
he has Lembas.
Okay.
4, 5, 8, 9. Okay, is Vincenzo going to win this game with that top deck? And was Charalampos a bit too fast to tap out? Why would you tap out when you have counterspell and your opponent has no cards in hand and you're winning on board?
I think that's one of the worst moves he did with this match.
I think he played great until this point.
Okay.
That was okay. He's gonna crack the Lembas.
It's gonna be shuffled back in the deck.
Deck is shuffled. Vincenzo is
how many
moving fast.
damages?
Vincenzo is moving fast. I think it's 9.
9.
8, 9.
Draw this card.
It's like
Is there
2
an answer
damages.
to the? I don't think he has any answer,
Damages
nor
from-
cantrips to try to find.
Okay.
Europe is
Yeah,
gonna
I-
stand it
Good
in.
game, well played.
Good game.
Very good.
So these were really interesting post sideboard games, and they were both like dominated by. That was definitely dominated by Guardian of the Guild Path.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the games were both weird in the sense that we had a misconception about who would win them both times, because they were very difficult to play, because we know what the cards and ends are, so we don't really know what's gonna happen, but we kind of know what's gonna happen. But I mean, the game went as they went. The player played as the best as they could, because the matches were really hard. The turns that they played were really hard, and we also didn't know what happened, what couldn't happen. I'm just clarifying. Boros won because Fairies had like 9 damages, but Lembas, the crack of the Lembas gained 3 life, so Boros would be down at 2, but Fairies being also down at 2 would have been killed by the swing back on the Guardian. So
He conceded.
he conceded the game.
It was dead on the board, so
Yeah.
it's not possible to do anything.
Okay.
I'd like to bring Morgan here.
Yes.
It's okay for you?
Yes.
Yeah. If we can
I'm
get
going-
him here, it's fine.
Alright. Head up in the
Okay. And yes, if you have a question for Mogd.
Okay, if you have a question for Mogd, we're gonna try to get him
uno solo.
to get him here, so we can ask him some questions about the game.
Okay. Yes, it was very fun games.
Yeah,
by the way.
definitely very fun games. We didn't see any glitter, which
Yeah,
is
so that's a bonus
which is
point.
a better thing. But I mean, I think we have some news for you, because I have the ranking of the teams, because the Paupergeddon is also a team event in which every league that's playing in the Pauper event brings their own team of 3 people, where you can actually compete, and the best team actually has the cup. There is a
Yes.
cup that gets, and at the end of day 1, so we don't know the ranking right now, but at the end of day 1, Lega Cornaredo were in first place with 48 points.
Nice.
And I think all the 3 players actually made day 2 from Lega
Yes,
Cornaredo.
it's tied with the second one, because there's the same amount of points with
Yeah.
Perugia.
Second place, which is actually first tied, it's Lega Perugia. with
Lega
3
Perugia,
players,
that
also 48 points.
Vincenzo Vinci, the player of Boros Synthesizer, is one of the player of Lega Pauper Perugia. So
Okay. Then we have Lega Pauper Granda, with 47 points, which is at third position, again tied with Lega Pauper Terni at 47 again. And then we see in 5th place 2 more tied leagues, which are Lega Pauper Varsavia, Warsaw Pauper League, so from Poland, and Znecin Pauper League, which I also think is from Poland. I might be mistaken, but I think it's from
we see
Poland
Sapo
too.
in the background dancing, happy dancing by Sapo.
And to close the top 8, as After the day 1, we have Lega Pauper Bollate with 44 points. And Lega Pauper Pescara also with 44 points.
Nice.
We're gonna try to tell you who's gonna win after day 2 and keep you updated also on the team.
Can you read this name, please?
Zetsin? I have no clue how it's pronounced. I'm sorry if I
asked for an audio of the reference for the correct pronunciation, and it's something like Szczecin.
Szczecin?
Yeah, you don't.
Okay,
you don't read the Z.
Okay, so Szczecin Pauper League.
Szczecin
He's from
Pauper League.
Poland, right?
He's from
He's
Poland.
from
Yeah,
Poland.
one of
Okay.
the three
Poland is very,
There's
very
3
strong.
Poland leagues?
Yeah, three Poland.
Okay,
Three
three.
Poland league.
Nice one.
And we see 2 of them are in the top 8 right now.
Nice.
Let me see that.
Okay, thank you. My pronunciation is good enough. Let's go. Yes.
Yeah, of course.
Okay, we have just received the upgraded prize grid.
Yeah.
So
This is for the event where we will do a post until the end of the day, so we can have all this data published on our social network, of course.
So these are the prizes.
These are the new upgraded prices because in day 1 the price was only for top 32, and since there were so many people, the organizers of the event decided to extend and to
give a prize
to top 64. So there is. This is really good by the organizers. We're gonna thank again Labirinto di Bollate, Lega Pauper Milano, Lega Pauper Merate, Playtime Merate, all these that managed to organize this event, and this is a really amazing event, and thank you so much for the new prices updated with the new number of people.
Nice, very nice. Now Mogd, I see him, he's coming right here.
Yeah, and I was trying to understand if he's actually can actually come on stream or not.
Okay, here he comes. I think that he's coming right here, but I'm not sure. Okay. I don't know if he's gonna come, really. Maybe not.
Okay, maybe it's not coming because we don't quite understand if he's coming here or not. By the way, the last round Boros won. We cannot show you the round
Okay,
timer.
he's coming. Okay.
Coming.
Oh.
Yeah, there was 715 players for the main event yesterday. Today there's 140 playing.
Oh, okay, now.
Yes.
A warm welcome for.
Welcome here on the stream
Mogd.
of Paupergeddon.
Hello, guys.
Guys, say hi to
Mogd.
Mogd. I'm trying to pronounce your name, but I might. Kiridis?
No, it's Kikidis.
Kikidis. Okay, Kikidis.
Okay, so a very, very tight games we see on streaming. It was very good to play the game 2, where it seems after the Guardian of the Guild Pact at turn 4 and the turn 5, we saw these players say, okay, Boros now cannot lose, and then you decided to race him and to win. Very good. So how did you feel in this situation? Did you expect something like Guardian of the Guild Pact from the sideboard of Boros?
No, I thought about it.
Okay, let's come
keeping,
closer.
Can you come closer?
Yeah, I considered keeping Agony Warp, but this is the only card it's kind of relevant. Then I saw it and put it back in game 3. But game 3, it's like a much harder situation because I don't have enough mana.
Yes, we saw you.
We saw that you were trying to find the 5th land drops to be able to unlock all the counter spell you had in hand.
Yes, because there were like some sequences that I would lose to not being able to kill the blocker and have the counter, and then die to possibly top deck. I was also expecting to upkeep to get life, so I had one more turn that I needed to go for the kill. Tough match. Still going through that game. Like
Yes.
I can definitely win this game if I play different. Like at some
Yes,
point.
but in hindsight, was it's always easy. But even for us, that we see what you're playing, what the other players have in hand. It was very difficult situation to decide to what is blocking, what is attacking. The Guardians were truly problem.
Especially in game 2 and game 3. Most of the times we had no right clue to what the path should be in combat, and we had all the infos about your hand and opponent's hands, so we know that later when you think about the game, well, knowing that if I played like that, I would have won. But being on the table and playing with the cards without knowing the information, you have to go through so many different scenarios, as you said. And so figuring out which one is the right line. I mean, you can play a line that maybe loses to something, and then opponent doesn't have it, and play a line that wins against some other things and loses to others, but the opponent has the one you lose to. And so it's really hard to figure out. But I mean, it was a tough game. Plus, the matchup, I think, for Blue-Black Fairies is not really that good. I mean, historically, Fairies have a hard time playing against Glinthawk and Korskai Fisher. So, what do you think about the matchup in general?
Oh, this is one of the worst matchups for
Yeah.
me, for sure, because the flyers, I have to kill them all, otherwise they completely stumble my plan.
Yeah.
And their chip removal, it's a problem for your
Yes,
spell starter.
I can't like reliably use spell starter to counter and then bounce it. So yeah, it's the worst matchup I think in the room for me.
And it
probably,
was
yes.
Unexpected because Boris Sint you were not expecting Boris Sint to in this table because it's.
Oh yeah, like I saw blue decks doing very well and very little like red decks.
Yes, so it's
Yeah.
it's a little bit of a surprise for this to see a Boros at the top of the table. So
I have one question regarding your deck build, because it's really different from what we generally see in Blue-Black Fairies. You play Moon Circuit Acker main deck, 2 copies of them, split with Ninja of the Deep Hours. And the most interesting thing I saw is that you play 0 copies of Murmuring Mystic, which here in Italy is a card we all love and we all play like 2-3 copies in Fairies. And what was your reasoning behind it, and why did you choose not to play it?
So I think it's a win more card.
Okay.
And the Fairy's plan is to gain control at some point early, and you can do that with snapouts and everything. And if you manage to do even like one swap of Fairy and Ninja, you're like 80% to win that game, like on average, like you're very far ahead. So I think in that situation, like cards like Murmur Mystic, like they wouldn't help that kind of plan, and it's like more of a comeback mechanic,
Okay.
which I don't really like in this deck because you are not always the control in every matchup.
Okay.
Sometimes, you know.
Yes, Fairies deck can switch the plan of the deck in between the games.
Yes.
Say you can be control, you can be tempo, you can be something.
I think that the game was a good example.
Yes.
For example, Murmur Mystic in those scenarios, like you doesn't have enough like speed and efficiency to
Yes.
go like such a plan.
Tapping out for 4 mana for Murmur Mystic in this situation
Yes.
was terrible. Yes.
Yeah. Okay, thank you very much,
you,
and
guys.
we hope you the best for the next games, and maybe we'll see you on stream again. And thank you so much for spending time with us, and good luck for the rest of the tournament. Oh, we hope you're enjoying the Paupergeddon here.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I'm enjoying, yeah, it's much fun.
Okay, we'll be back with round 10 and we'll see you later. Bye.